Previously on Shane Dawson Reloaded. We are still counting down the 2022 podcast episodes until we get into the new year, and you don't want to miss the big twist that happens in the next episode. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. Please believe me when I say I've missed you more than you've missed me. And although it has been a while since we last caught up with Shane Dawson and friends, rest assured there was a method to my madness. Hi, my name is Jem, and today we are going to reload number 12 of the Shane Dawson podcast. And here is when we find out why Shane put an end to the love triangle and picked Ryland over Cameraman Chris. You don't want to miss this game-changing episode. Let's get into it.
What? No. I don't even know how to react.
When I tell you this entire episode was off to me when I watched it, I knew something was up when this flashed across the screen. Shane opens the podcast highlighting the alpaca wearing a woman's wig. Now, since we've all been paying attention, I'm not even going to ask you who this alpaca is supposed to represent, because you already know we've established that the alpaca is a stand-in for Cameraman Chris. So my first thought was, why is Alpaca Chris wearing a woman's wig? Let's watch as everything unfolds right before our eyes.
Where's our leader? Katie.
That's so fetch.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, she's here.
Who is she?
Oh my gosh, she's so hot.
She doesn't even go here.
I'm so sorry, guys. I cut myself shaving. Oh, hi, Regina.
Hey. Or hey.
Did you all just hear what Shane called Chris?
Oh, hi, Regina.
Hey. Or hey.
Now, I had to edit it out, okay? Because YouTube didn't even catch it. But he called him the slur for gay people. Now, Chris is laughing, so I'm assuming he's fine with it. I don't know if it's a nervous laughter or he truly is fine with it. I don't know, but I just wanted to point it out.
So you really can't stop bleeding?
No. Hey, everyone. Welcome to whatever the hell this is. We're, a lot. I don't know.
Beware of the plastic.
Dude, you're very good in character.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm sorry. I just looked over you because I haven't really looked at you because I've been so obsessed with my bleeding face. You look so good.
Thanks.
Wow.
Yeah, you look gorgeous.
If the alpaca in the wig didn't tip you off, there was something going on with this show. Shane complimenting Ryland off the rip should have. Two things that caught my attention. Shane showering Ryland with affection, which is unheard of throughout the last 11 episodes. And the second thing that caught my eye is it took Ryland dressing up as a woman to stop Shane in his tracks and give him a compliment at the beginning of the show. Remember, Shane would always compliment Chris first. Now we see it's Ryland. And again, we've already gone over how Shane joked in the past about wanting Ryland to become a woman.
Although I did have a dream last night, and I told Ryland about this, he got very upset. I had a dream that he had a vagina. And then I was like, oh, I should hit that. And then I was like, no, he doesn't. Oh. I was just telling them that I had a dream that he had a vagina.
He did wake up and he said, I was having sex with you and you had a vagina. Is he gonna leave me for a woman? I'm contemplating like, oh my God, is he dreaming about vaginas because he misses them? And does this include me in his new life?
And so it doesn't surprise me that this is what it took for Ryland to get Shane's favor. But wait, there's more. I'm building my case.
I think if you walked in somewhere, I'd be afraid of you.
I know. When I put this wig on today, I was like, I'm a real bitch in this wig.
Why?
The bangs with the long hair is like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to f you up. If you say one word, if you so much as look in my direction in a way that I don't like, I'm going to come and grab you by the nutsack and f***ing yank it.
You better be in character, Ryland, because I'll tell you right now, Nobody's afraid of you.
Okay, here's
It's
the thing.
obvious.
So I was like, okay, we're having our first girl on the show, which is a huge deal for us. All these in this room. It's nice to get
All these.
it's nice to get a woman. Yeah. And then I was like, what about Mean Girls? Because you're a girl, and we could all be girls. And then Jared and Chris were like, we don't want to be girls. So then, this happened.
We don't want to be girls. And this is when I knew why everything was so off. The alpaca wig was meant for Chris to wear. Shane had a vision for this episode. He wanted everyone to dress up as a woman with Morgan on the show. Jared and Chris said no. Now forget about Jared. I'm not focusing on him. Let's go to Chris. If you don't know why this is a big deal, let's look back and refresh our memory because it started at episode 4 and beyond when Shane started putting an effort into dressing up for the show. As we can see, Chris had no problem when Shane wanted to dress him up as a Gucci pig, a rainbow cowboy, a leopard to match Shane's couch pillow. Chris had no problem being dressed as an 8-year-old boy, a college preppy, a spaced out emo. Chris didn't care when he had to wear a fake Supreme shirt advertising liking bears while in a relationship. Nor did he care when he became a Tom Cruise Top Gun knockoff. All of these things he did willingly. But when Shane asked Chris to dress up as a woman, that was a bridge too far. Now, I have absolutely zero problem with Chris not wanting to wear hair and makeup. Zero problem, y'all. Still, you have to wonder why, all of a sudden, easy breezy going Chris had the courage to tell his boss no. Where did that come from? I'll give you all a conspiracy that's way more interesting than anything in Shane's new conspiracy movie. As I said in the opening of the show, there is a method to my madness. Do y'all remember this episode here of the Shane Dawson podcast that I did commentary on? I titled it Busted. You can go back and watch to refresh your memory, but I'll give you a quick rundown. It was in this episode, Chris told Shane that his cousin called him and said there were YouTubers talking about him having an affair with Shane.
No, but she texted me a video from like a drama channel, and she's like, people are talking about you, and I was like, what do you mean? What is that? So yeah, I saw the video, and they were like, oh, like Shane and Chris clearly have slept with each other, and like this is why, like because of the way that they look at each other, the way Ryland reacts because of this thing, and it was all these things, and I was almost convinced by the end of it. But
now I was playing coy in that video, saying, "Hey, they weren't talking about my previous videos." But I'm telling you now they were, and I knew they were. You see, even though a lot of people on YouTube have been covering Shane Dawson for years, I'm pretty sure I was one of the first to put a spotlight directly on Chris. So much so, I believe his cousin could have informed him of my videos. Because look, all throughout my series, I've been putting Chris in the thumbnails. Where have you seen Chris in other people's thumbnails? It's a rarity. Now, I don't watch all of YouTube, alright? So he could have been on thumbnails before. If you notice, after I put out Busted, I stopped putting out videos of Shane for a bit. I dropped one more, I guess in July, and then I stopped. Why? Well, for various reasons, one of which is I'm going to take you behind the curtains, okay? I treat this podcast as a case study. I want to observe how Shane, Ryland, and Chris interact. And if they know I'm studying them, they may change their behaviors and thus spoil my efforts. And so I disappeared. Since I was busted, I laid off of Shane, Ryland, and Chris for a bit to take the heat off me and let them interact without thinking I'm watching their every move. Because sometimes, too, people will play into it, too. I don't want them to play into me watching them or stop doing things because I'm watching them. I just want them to be while I just sit and do my thing. But on that July video, this was my warning to Chris.
Okay, I didn't know what was happening. Shane's like, close your eyes, try this. I'm like, wait, what? No, close your eyes. You can't. And you also were like, no, keep your eyes closed. And I was like, why? And like, I was like opening my mouth. I'm like, oh God.
Shane asked Chris to close his eyes, and like the obedient employee he is, he does it. And how does Shane repay his cameraman for trusting him so blindly? He feeds him something disgusting. Please note that whenever Shane has an opportunity to take advantage of someone, he'll do it. And you can't even say it was for YouTube because this was away from the podcast. Chris, show me in your job description where you're supposed to close your eyes and open your mouth. You're lucky that tuna was the only thing Shane decided to put in your mouth.
After that, we decided, let's try to record a podcast. And it didn't happen. And we ended up, having a couple drinks. And then things got really crazy. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, I was going through my phone this morning and I don't even remember taking these. I saw pictures of Chris on the ground in my kitchen, like really contemplating life. It was nuts.
We hear Shane explain that he drank so much he doesn't remember what happened. But here you see that he was able to get perfect shots. You see, Shane is trying to get out of his wrongdoing by adding that he was drunk at the time, since he says he doesn't remember taking the pictures, but that excuse does not exonerate you, Shane. Okay, and everyone listening, in case you didn't know, if your friends' first instinct is to take pictures of you in compromising positions when you're not coherent, that's not a friend who's out for your best interest. Especially when said friend also uploads the picture to YouTube for millions of people to see. And notice that out of everyone who got wasted that night, Chris the cameraman is the only one who had a pic posted. And Chris, if this is how you're going to live your life, I hope you're getting more than just cameraman fees. It better be worth it because this is only the beginning. I warned Chris about always saying yes to Shane. So what you think Chris' cousin told him then? And this episode, although it was released in November of 2022, it was filmed in September of 2022. And for the first time, we see Chris decide not to follow Shane's direction. Is this a coincidence or a conspiracy? Y'all let me know in the comments. But for argument's sake, let's just say Chris's cousin gave Chris my little warning and told him not to do everything that Shane says. I submit to you, the jurors, Chris saying no to cosplaying as a woman was, dare I say, the inciting incident that led Shane to finally marry Ryland. Oh yeah, I said it. Shane finally found something that Chris wouldn't do that Ryland would. Y'all, I'm playing around. Let's continue, shall we?
Chris,
Yes.
what are you?
I'm Damien.
This is Damien. He's almost too gay to function.
So I guess that's why Shane called Chris a slur in the beginning of the show?
Yeah. Whoa.
Whoa.
Is that your real hair color?
Oh, I see. You're in character. Okay, you scared me. You kind of turned me on a little bit. That was a little angry.
Okay. Not while my sister's here.
Not while
you're
you're a
gonna
girl.
flirt with Chris like this right now.
I want to flirt
How
with
could
Chris
you when I
too.
look so beautiful?
You do.
I'm telling y'all, Chris seemed so down in the beginning of this episode. He barely spoke.
I was thinking earlier today, I glanced over at Chris in the store and I thought I would marry him.
Oh my god.
So I have something to tell you.
What?
He's gay!
But I'll just thank you really quick because you're one of the most beautiful people I've ever met. So thank you. All right, continue.
Whoa.
Does it mean
Wow.
anything coming from a gay guy?
She's gorgeous.
Yes, that means
It does.
more.
She's so gorgeous.
Oh, it means more.
I would say that means more than coming from a straight guy because half the straight guys I know are fucking morons.
They don't know what they're talking about. They haven't gotten dragged themselves to know what this takes.
They haven't been through the mud and the sweat and the tears.
It's just because scientifically it's
Well,
proven that men
yeah.
are trash.
Either Chris is in character, I don't know. I haven't seen this movie, so fill me in. Either he's in character or he's one of those people who after they argue with their boyfriend, everyone can tell because their entire mood changes. Oh, jeez. Lighten up, Chris. Okay, so the folks start talking about adult toys. And I want you to watch what happens here because it comes into play a little later on down the road.
I love vibrator
Very
talk.
true.
Have you ever used a vibrator?
There's a buzz
No.
around it for sure.
What? Why would?
Okay, we'll come back to this a little later.
Morgan, you did bring up something in the car that
Oh,
I thought was
God, I was
interesting.
bringing up a lot of things.
You said, what are your guys' toxic traits? Like when you're in a friendship or you're in a relationship, like what do you know about yourself that's toxic? And I was like, this is the perfect Mean Girl segment.
Yes.
Do you want to start?
Oh boy. Who wants to make a bet that Chris is going to say more than he should?
Yeah, I already have mine for sure.
So Morgan goes first and says her toxic trait is she likes having friends who aren't friends with each other so she can talk about gossip with them. Okay. Shane's toxic trait is he doesn't tell friends when he's mad at them. He holds it in for years, sometimes until it erupts. Okay.
Chris,
Yes.
I'm going to say something to you right now.
Mm-mm.
I feel really closed off from you and I feel like we're not like in the same space. Can you take off the sunglasses and hood?
Oh, yes.
I just feel like you're out there on an island on your own and I want to see you, baby.
He
Everything
looks like a
feels
meme.
so bright now.
I feel like you were sleeping.
You see, everyone knew Chris was off this episode. Now, to be fair, Chris could have been tired too because he does have other jobs, plus he flies in to do the show. They're filming in Colorado, so it could be that.
Also, your shaved face is great. Like you just lost 10 years.
Yeah, Chris shaved and he
Did
looked
I?
gorgeous.
Yes.
Is it
Wow.
good?
You look
Yeah.
gorgeous.
I saw it
honey.
and I was like, I don't know.
That's when I thought we could get married.
I did it, but it's probably
Wow, with your little haircut, you look like you're 12.
Wow.
I don't know if that's a good thing.
You were throwing off pervert vibes to me. You know, whoa, like you were totally closed off. We didn't know where you're looking. You know,
You know
like,
what's
it was pervy.
Chris, why are you making a face? You're gonna let this guy right here, say you look pervy without checking him? Okay. Because, hey, if it's all jokes, you should have been cracking back on Jared, Chris.
Okay, you know what's interesting? Which person in this room do you think is the biggest pervert? We'll get back to toxic traits in a minute.
Ooh.
Because my answer is shocking.
Come on. We all see it coming a mile away. Shane, your answer won't be shocking to us. We've done the science.
I would say Chris because
Shocking.
I've seen the TikTok with.
Okay, I'm going to rewind it back so I'm not talking over Morgan. But did you hear Jared after Morgan said Chris's name?
I would say Chris because
Shocking.
I've.
He said shocking, all sarcastically. Jared stays on Chris's neck. Chris, you've got to get him back one time. One time.
I would say Chris because
Shocking.
I've seen the TikTok with the schlong hanging out.
Wow. What? Explain. What are you talking about? Because I haven't seen the TikTok with the schlong.
Well, that's
hanging
because
out.
his TikTok got banned after he posted it.
He posted his schlong hanging out on a TikTok.
Wait.
Chris, what?
Wait.
Nope. We're not going to wait. What were you up to get banned from TikTok? Come again?
There was a trend on TikTok called the silhouette challenge, and a lot of people were taking this very seriously and were like doing a silhouette of them naked, dancing sexy and stuff. And I hate my body. I would never actually be naked on a thing, and I thought it'd be funny to to when it cuts to the silhouette, like it seems all very serious and normal, but then I like move to the side and I have like the biggest dildo strapped to my body.
Sometimes, Chris, you just do this to yourself. Chris says he hates his body, but can't stop being naked in public and now on TikTok. Enough so that he got banned. Okay. That's like me telling everyone I'm shy in real life, but yet I have a YouTube channel where I run my mouth all day, every day. We don't believe you, Chris. You need more people.
So it's just like comically huge. And
Oh,
it's, like,
so it wasn't even your real wiener?
No, it's like very
A couple of questions.
And then at the end I slap
But
it and
he,
it flies
don't
off.
forget he had the dildo in the
Yeah.
first place.
So you didn't go
Yeah.
out to purchase
Whoa.
that.
Wait a minute.
Right. Good
You
point.
just
He
cracked
just-
the
Good
code.
He just had it.
perspective.
Yes.
Why did you have
Okay.
that big of a though?
You see, you would think answering this question in a room filled with people who aren't homophobic wouldn't be that big of a deal, right? But remember this.
I love vibrator
Very
talk.
true.
Have you ever used a vibrator?
There's a buzz around it for sure.
What? Why would?
You see what I mean? The fact that Ryland made it a big deal never to have used, I'll just say a toy. The fact that he said he's never used one, Chris should have read the room and he should have known what kind of trouble he was about to walk into.
Well, that was for a sketch, but it's been in like 4 sketches.
There's always an excuse.
No, I swear.
Quick, nobody stand around Chris. Chris, nobody asked you to swear, but isn't this interesting? Chris has to vehemently deny using a toy as a gay man to another gay man and a bisexual man. This entire scenario is so odd to me. Why are they treating Chris in such a way he has to be so defensive? Very odd.
It would be very hard for anyone to make me feel like Chris is not the biggest pervert in this room right now. I think Chris got my vote personally. So I'm with Morgan. I'm going to vote Chris.
I think you're all a bunch of prudes. Continue.
I think you are a pervert. And here's
I
because
don't think I'm a pervert. I don't think liking sex makes you a pervert.
No.
It does if you're in a room with 4 religious virgins. What? Huh? Oh, wait. They're not religious virgins? Okay, then you got me, Chris. I don't know why they're hanging you out to dry.
We have to use the term pervert.
Yeah,
let's just put it out there.
Explicit.
We should take back the word.
That's all it is. It's not a negative thing. I don't want to be like pervert and shaming.
Jared says it's not a negative thing. Let us all gather around and read the definition of the word pervert. Pervert, a person whose sexual behavior is regarded as abnormal and unacceptable. Perversion. Perversion is a form of human behavior which deviates from what is considered to be orthodox or normal. Although the term perversion can refer to a variety of forms of deviation, it is most often used to describe sexual behaviors that are considered particularly abnormal, repulsive, or obsessive. Thank you, Wikipedia. In Google, you see why not everything is meant for everyone? This all started back to when Chris thought it was a good idea to tell everyone he relieves himself at the washroom at work and in public. And now he wants to argue he's not a pervert. Chris volunteered that information and now they won't let him forget it. So everything else he does is going to always circle back to what he first told everybody he did.
Demand what you want,
I'm
Chris.
pro-pervert.
What do you mean?
Like when you're not satisfied, I'm not even saying not satisfied, but when you want to explore something outside of what's typically going on when you're sleeping with somebody, are you not demanding, but do you vocalize what you want?
Sometimes, sure.
See, okay, that's a thing. Because you in real life, like when you're not f***ing, you're kind of nervous to speak up, like if something's wrong or you need something or whatever. But in the bedroom, I feel like you're very outspoken. Not that I know, but I'm just assuming.
It's different in the bedroom.
Shane brings up how Chris is nervous to speak up. So again, I'm so surprised he told Shane he didn't want to dress as a woman. This is new for Chris. So him telling Shane no, I would have liked to see on camera. Because I'm telling you, that would have got on Shane's nerves. And here again, we see for some reason Shane is imagining what Chris is like in the bedroom. Not for some reason, because we all know why.
But I also prefer to please the other person in general, for the record. But like, yes, I mean, that is the one time I'm not, it's like, that's the one time in my life I'm not in my head having an anxiety attack. Like, it just kicks in and instincts kick in and I just have fun.
See, and that's why I said pervert. And I'll think of a better word.
I'll fill you all in. He never comes up with a better word. And even Shane's explanation right now, I don't know how the word pervert came about to describe what Chris does in the bedroom. For that word to come up, it's because Shane is not telling us everything he imagined Chris is doing in the bedroom.
But it isn't. You're almost breaking stereotypes. Because like when you see the quiet kid in class, do you automatically assume that they're the one that wants the biggest dildo? No.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. They're usually the perverts, right? The quiet kids. They're
Always.
usually looking at porno.
And there you go. Jared uses the word again. And we hear Shane implying Chris uses the toy even though Chris swore he never used it.
You know, or something.
Interesting. Wait, what do you want? No, I know. 5 minutes left. Oh my gosh.
I think everybody's a pervert, though. It's like, how are you not a pervert?
Between me and you, it's me.
Yeah, you're the pervert for sure. Oh my gosh, yes.
So this is Shane smoothing everything over by calling himself a perv too. Remember earlier he said that people were saying he was a bully last episode?
It's fine. I was the victim the last podcast, or a couple podcasts ago, and so now it's time for me to just really be a bitch.
Oh my god, now I'm the victim because people said I was a bully in the last one.
Okay, so he thinks by calling himself a perv, he won't be called a bully in this episode.
Why do you say that?
I mean,
I feel like
my sister's here.
We literally were just talking about those at Target. I think we're fine.
Ryland, I do this next to my brother every time. It's not that bad.
It's not bad. Maybe there's a problem that we have.
Yeah,
It's not a problem. It's a problem that there's even the idea that there is a problem.
Oh.
Preach.
See, and that's the thing. I cut out a lot of the banter in previous episodes, but there was this ongoing incest joke that Shane and Jared would carry on and on and on about every episode, it seemed. This would have been the perfect time for Chris to counter when Shane and Jared called him a pervert. All Chris would have to do is point out how they talk about being attracted to each other. If that's not pervert behavior, I don't know what is. But Chris doesn't say anything as a response.
I would say I'm a bigger pervert than you.
For sure.
But I think it's like a chemical imbalance or something. Or there's something in your brain that makes you like, you care about sex and it's a thing for you, but you're not like, you know.
It doesn't rule my life in any regard.
But then my question is, but in your grinder days, you were like f***ing a million people a day.
That was like my exploration phase, you know?
And we see here Shane continues to bring up Ryland's sexual history. When people say not to divulge how many partners you had, a lot of times is for this reason. Some partners are insecure, and because of that, they will never let you forget what you told them, and they'll bring it up constantly. So again, did you hear Shane? He just said Ryland slept with 1 million people a day. Talk about an exaggeration. But hey, listen up. I like how Ryland is so unbothered by Shane's accusation. That's how you have to be around someone like Shane, unbothered. But also, you gotta hit him back sometimes where it hurts. Metaphorically speaking.
Like, I was figuring out what I liked and what I didn't like, and I wasn't ready to be in a relationship. So
like finding yourself.
Yeah.
I went on Snap and I said, hey guys, Morgan's here. What questions should we ask our first girl on the podcast? So many people were just like, oh my God, I love Morgan. I want to marry Morgan. I want to f Morgan. I forwarded all those to you.
Was one of those Chris?
You know, there is one guy in my podcast comments every episode. Set me up with Morgan. Maybe you should look into him. I'll send you his info.
He could be perfect.
We should do a
You
date.
never know.
Oh
we
my
should
gosh.
do a bachelorette.
Okay, I think I've mastered the art of being alone though, because I think to myself a lot at night, if someone was here, would I be ultimately bothered by it? And a lot of the times I think yes.
Well, that's the real key, is finding somebody that enhances your time where you're doing nothing. Like, you can exist in a room together, not feel weird, and still enjoy your time together.
I also don't think everyone has to be in a relationship, though.
Chris.
Some people are just
You're
happy.
so well.
Yeah,
Here we go again. Ryland calling Chris woke. In case you didn't know, this is not a compliment, Chris.
I want to know how we're in the same genetic pool.
Sometimes I
that
think we're
supposed to
not.
mean?
yeah, wow.
Like, we look at him. He has no acne on his face. His metabolism works like a charm. I wish I was
Tiny
you.
dick. No, I'm kidding.
He's lying.
I'm telling y'all, unbothered Ryland is the best. I love how he doesn't play into Shane's little jabs. Brilliant.
No, he has problems though, mental.
Oh, please. Well, we never got back to toxic. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Actually,
Yeah, you guys never all shared your toxic trait over there in the little pink cardigan, Miss Regina. I want to hear your toxic trait.
wait, yeah. Hey, Chris, what's your toxic trait? Do you have a toxic trait?
Chris, don't do it. Don't do it. It's a trap. Don't do it. He's gonna do it.
I think I have so many, but but like in a relationship or
Just in life.
Yeah.
Because like in life, it's just that I'm like I'm always anxious and always like doubting myself so much that I think I become like just very frustrating for people around me because I whisper or I don't speak up or I'm like in a line and I'm not sure what to do and then I like cause a scene at the grocery store because I'm so like anxious. That's a problem.
That's not a toxic trait, but I'm not mad at Chris for giving them nothing. You're getting it, Chris. Keep it going. Keep giving them nothing.
But also in like specifically relationships, it's like trust issues. I just have severe trust issues and I have a really, really hard time trusting anybody. And that's tough.
Do you ever
Maybe
snap?
that's why I don't want to be in a relationship. But at least you can get to the point.
Yeah.
Why, you have trust issues or what?
I don't think so.
Oh. Then what did you say? You can't be in a relationship. I thought it was that. He said trust, and then you said that.
But like at least you can get to the point where you're in a relationship to figure out what your issues in the relationship are.
Yeah. Do you ever snap? Like, have you ever had a moment where you've just like popped off, like really ate?
Here it is. Here it is. All right, let me tell you what's going on here. Shane was fishing. Shane already knows what's up. Chris was supposed to say more in the toxic trait question, but Morgan cut him off. And so Chris couldn't elaborate. But Shane, not to be deterred, reworded his question to get exactly what he wanted out of Chris. Shane knew what he was doing. And here I was hoping Chris would have come out of this unscathed. Chris, just say, I do not have any rage issues. I bet you he won't.
Yes. No, I mean, I don't know. I get mad for sure, but I don't know. Yes. I mean, there are times in the past I've gotten really, really mad, especially in previous relationships, especially when I thought I was being cheated on. I almost never get angry. I relate to the thing you were saying where like you kind of bottle it up and then it explodes.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have punched and cracked a windshield once when I was really mad.
I was going to say you seem violent.
Shane says that he always knew Chris was violent. Maybe that's why he dressed Alpaca Chris up as Michael Myers in the last episode. I see you, Shane. I was like, why was he wearing that mask? Now I know. Chris, you were not supposed to be Tom Cruise. You were supposed to be Michael Myers. That's a good one, Shane.
I would never touch a person.
Not a person.
There's still time. There's still plenty of time.
Your bare hands?
Yeah.
That's a cancer thing.
The cancers are outrageous.
Maybe. Okay, so yeah, you have rage. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Have you ever shot anybody?
But it takes. I've never shot. No.
Dude, then good.
I don't hurt people.
You know?
And the anger stuff is just like it takes a lot for me to get there. You know what I mean? I mean, I like again with the windshield thing. Like I had thought I was being cheated on for years and like
okay, well then
gaslit
that
and lied
is
to. And
there's behavior that is unprovoked and behavior that is provoked. If you think someone's cheating on you, that is provoked, and that's their own fault. If you crack their windshield, so f them.
Do not follow their advice. Morgan and Chris aren't giving you valid excuses to react violently to your partner. Certain things I just want to clarify. Don't let someone cheating on you be your excuse for violence, whether on them or their property. Because both will land you in jail. Don't do it. I'm warning y'all. Don't listen to them. As it stands now, I guess depending on which country you live in, but cheating is not a criminal offense. But damaging someone's property is.
Ryland, what's your toxic trait? I could answer this. What's your toxic trait?
I honestly don't know. What do you say? I would like your opinion, honestly.
Where do we start?
Oh.
No, yeah, be honest. Tell me. Hit me with it.
I would say your toxic trait is... Oh, you get really moody, very princessy, very like if there's a plan and the plan doesn't happen, you are angry and then you don't let it go and it takes like 2 hours for you to have fun.
Yeah, and that is like a toxic trait that feels genetic in my family.
So instead of Ryland answering what his toxic trait is, he lets Shane speak for him. And Shane lets us know that Ryland's toxic trait is that he gets angry when his plans fall through. You've got to be kidding me. Here we have Chris talking about punching windshields He didn't say whose windshield he punched, all right? Because if it was his partner, you're lucky you don't have a criminal record right now, Chris. But Chris is punching windshields, and Ryland's contribution is that sometimes he's moody. Chris, do you not see the discrepancy here? You don't see it?
Between the men.
Oh,
And so I feel like that is something I have to break. I feel like you coming into my life at the time you did was pivotal for me in a lot of ways. Like it broke a lot of what was in those sorts of things. I feel like I would have been a lot more.
This is manipulative.
That was so nice.
Because I feel like
No.
now he doesn't want me to say the next toxic trait.
No,
so
no,
he's
no.
saying something really nice.
Y'all, Shane is right. Shane is right. Ryland is hiding something big. But we'll get into what he's hiding in the next episode. Remember this moment. Next, they tell a story about an app Jared was playing around with to make his beard disappear. Jared tells a story about how his wife reacted because he pranked her. And then Chris tells a story about what happened when he shaved his beard for real and sent a picture to his boyfriend.
Doing
My
that
boyfriend and I
stuff.
prank each other as well. And we had a very similar conversation as well, by the way. I sent a photo of myself shaved.
Uh-oh.
And he just sent a Steve Carell gif of him screaming no.
No! God, please, no! No!
This is
real.
mean because yours is real, Chris.
Mine's real.
So this
Okay.
is kind of not
Mine's
exactly
real.
like it.
Mine's real.
At least Sandy
And-
was supportive.
and-
Homie down
and
the
then-
street
well,
is
yeah.
not happy.
And I was like, that's so mean. And then I was like, I put a crying emoji. And then he was like, he said a couple things, but then he's like, I'm just kidding. I love you. You're still so
All right, so here's where they
And I was like,
all
so
dogpile
sweet.
on
This is how we
Chris's
talk to each other.
if
boyfriend.
someone
just-
responded to me like that, I would never recover.
If Ryland sent me an emoji that said no to my physical appearance,
And then, wait. The last thing, well, not one of the last things he said was, well, now I understand why they say that love is blind.
Chris, why the hell would you read that?
Yeah.
That's so
It's
mean.
hilarious.
That's mean, Doc.
No,
I
this-
don't know about
see,
all
this
that.
is the dynamic of
I
our
thought it was
relationship.
gonna get.
They all dogpiled because I'm sure they don't like it. Why do I say this? They showed in this episode, even though I cut it out. But what Shane and Ryland talk about is, let me play a clip. They talk about how judgmental they are of others.
When I'm trying to make friends, because recently I've been like, trying to. Yeah.
Where do you make friends?
Hasn't gone well. And I'll have a thing where I'm like, okay, we should hang out with somebody, and then the time will come, and I'm like, would I rather hang out with Ryland alone? Yeah, kind of.
See, that's what every time I've been out with a guy, sometimes I'll look at them and be like, okay, I need to think about how to phrase this in a way that doesn't sound crazy. But I think about it all the time. I'm like, okay, if I'm with a guy and I'm sitting with him by myself, one of the things that I'm thinking about when he's talking to me is, would I take him to meet Shane and Ryland? And that I live in absolute horrifying fear. Because you wouldn't just bring some random bum from the middle of the alleyway back to meet Shane and Ryan. Mom and Dad could meet anyone. They would be.
So just putting two and two together, I just feel that they'll find anything to pick apart Chris's boyfriend, even based on how Shane was acting in the last episode. Anyways, it's curious to me that sensitive Chris and his boyfriend have this kind of dynamic in their relationship where they put each other down. But hey, to each its own. Chris seems to like it, so I love it.
Cute.
This is
That got kind of uglier.
Sandy. I
It
love
was very hard to make a piece of dog shit smell worse. Somehow you found the perfect seasoning to sprinkle on top to make
Oh,
it
I
smell
love
worse.
it.
Nailed the coffin shut, baby.
well, I'm happy for you guys that you can
Well, no,
verbally abuse each other.
no. I mean,
Yeah.
Chris, you gonna let Shane get away with that? Him? Talking about verbally abusing a partner? Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I need to be with someone who we can handle jokes.
Right.
Can't.
Was that a joke?
Yeah. Yes.
we
Yes, it
know
was.
I was joking with you back.
Now, I will say, then we had some fun. So then I started
Always.
FaceApping things, and don't worry, Morgan, you're included in this. And I started FaceApping things, and I just want to say, we can see how Ryland looks so pretty right now.
Next, they play around with a face app where you can change your sex. And look what happens when they show a picture of Chris as a woman.
realistic woman I've
Whoa.
That's me.
Oh my
That's
God,
you.
Chris, you're hot.
You're beautiful, Chris.
You are like the prettiest dentist assistant.
I was
You know
just
what I'm
thinking
talking
that.
about?
Like she's sleeping with your husband.
Oh my
Yes.
God, so many of my tias are dentists. This
Yes.
makes sense.
And you know what, Chris? You like as a male, you're pervert. You're a perv. You know what I'm saying?
I don't
As a
identify
female,
as-
she's a freak in the
She's
sheets.
in his
She
wife.
is a freak in the sheet.
Isn't it interesting that Ryland thinks Chris, as a woman, would sleep with your husband? And of course, Jared again is calling Chris a pervert. Not a compliment to be seen. All right, so Ryland does the end of the show wrap up, and of course, they call Chris a perv again.
Chris is the biggest perv.
Yeah, Chris is a pervert.
I'm not.
Chris doesn't identify as a pervert.
Thank
Oh,
you.
the group comes to a conclusion on who the biggest pervert is. It was revealed to be Chris, yet he doesn't identify as a pervert himself.
I like sex. Why is that bad?
Chris likes sex, which we all think is fine.
That was aggressive.
And then when they were coming up with other topics to wrap up about, Chris out of nowhere adds this.
Revisit that.
Okay.
Chris's boyfriend no longer attracted him because he shaved his face.
Oh, yes.
Y'all, I'm just gonna say it. I'm done with Chris. He loves attention. He loves it. He's been doing too much where I just can't feel sorry for him anymore. I'm letting you all know this now.
Chris's boyfriend is kind of abusive, but he loves it. It's just in sarcastic fun, don't worry. They're gonna break up soon because Chris shaved his face. All right, well, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, follow, do all the things, and we'll see you right here in 2 weeks on the Shane Dawson Podcast.
You perverts.
Good on Chris for finally saying no when Shane Dawson asked him to put on a wig and wear makeup. If Chris didn't feel comfortable with that outfit, okay, I applaud him for standing up for himself. I want to see more of that. However, my question is, if Chris knew saying no to Shane was the catalyst for Shane and Ryland's wedding, would he still have told Shane no? Something to think about. Shane decided to stick with the one who will put on a wig from time to time and pick up his pee bottles. He realized that's a rare quality to find in a partner. In the next episode, Shane and Ryland's mom visit the podcast, and you don't want to miss the clash of personalities. Also, we're gonna find out what Shane and Ryland have been hiding from us this entire time. And if I knew this secret before, I would have supported Shane's decision to prolong the engagement.